Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third week of the Profitable Quiz Funnel. All right, Quiz Funnel Workshop. My name is Elvis Okenwa. I'm the implementation specialist at LeadQuizzes. And with me here, I was meant to have done a bar revisor, but he's probably going to jump in any minute now on the call. All right, so today we're going to be looking at quiz funnel traffic strategies. Okay, we're going to be showing you how to target the right type of traffic, 5 traffic sources that work really well, and how you can build an evergreen traffic funnel system, right? Now, similar to the last time, in between, I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to let Kathy and Josh, if you do have questions, or if you have any comments, or if you have some contributions or something you've done in the past with regards to, any of the topics we're going to cover, jump in, let us know, share with us so we all learn together. Right. So like I said, we're going to be looking at how to target.
Elvis, real quick, you were a little faint on the audio, and I turned up my volume all the way, so I don't know if there's a way to change that.
Is this a bit better now?
Yes, much better.
So Thank you. I said, I just turned up. We're going to be looking at how to target the right type of traffic, 5 traffic sources that work really well, and how to build an evergreen traffic funnel system. Okay, now let's get started. First, we're going to look at how you can target the right type of traffic. Now, if you don't have an audience, let's say you don't have a list, for example, or a product to sell, or you're totally starting from scratch, all right? And you're saying, oh my God, I don't have a quiz, I don't know what to write about, like what topics are people actually interested in? Now, when you have a specific topic in your mind, we're going to use, for this example, adrenaline fatigue. All right, I'm using this example because in LeadQuizzes, a lot of our users are in this space. All right, so I'm going to use adrenaline fatigue in the health and wellness space. So let's say you have that topic in your mind, adrenaline fatigue. They're thinking about. And the first thing you want to do is you want to start joining online groups of people who are trying to solve that particular problem. So if I'm thinking, adrenal fatigue, I want to write a quiz about this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Reddit, Quora, Meetup.com, you name it. I'm going to join different groups of people that are having that particular problem. Right now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for those challenges that they're writing about, they're posting about, and they're sharing. Now, a great starting point is this. When you go to Google, you type in, you go to Facebook, you join the groups, you see, okay, what are they writing about? What are they talking about? What are the posts that have the most engagement, the ones that have the most interactions, the ones that have the long emotional comments? Those kind of posts are what you're looking for, right? Now, for Facebook, you go there, you search, for example, adrenal fatigue. You check the different groups that are in there. You see those that have the highest number of members. You join those groups, all right? In those groups, now usually it takes some time for you to be allowed to join the group because it will require membership. But you join those groups. The next step is you want to look for those posts that have the most comments. So once you see those posts that have the most comments, so for example, this particular one has 178 comments and it's talking about chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, this has so much comments. What is the next step? Now you go into the post to see what they're talking about. Now you can see that a lot of people on this particular post talking about
Elvis.
Syndrome. Hey, Josh. Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, what time was the meeting supposed to start? It looked like it was 11, but I just got back because it hadn't started. So I'm just wondering what I missed.
We started a couple of minutes back because we had some difficulties getting on the Zoom call. So I think you just missed about 3 minutes.
Okay, cool.
All right, so like I was saying,
can you recap really quick what part I missed?
All right, so what I basically explained is how you can start research targeting. So let's say, for example, you don't even have a topic, you're gonna write your quiz about, or you don't even have a product. The first thing you want to do is, if you have a particular topic in mind, right? So in this scenario, we're going to use adrenal fatigue, all right, as a topic. Now, the first thing I want to do is want to start joining groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, okay, meetup.com, Quora, Reddit. Want to join all those groups and communities. And what we're looking for is those posts, those conversations that have, passionate communication. So in this example, we have in here, I went to Facebook. I looked at those groups. I saw the one that has 68K members. That's high. I joined the group. As I joined the group, I noticed that this particular post has 178 comments, and they're talking about chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, what does that mean? I want to learn more about what they're talking. I enter inside the group. I started to read on the comments. Now I'm saying that, okay, chronic fatigue syndrome is a problem. People are having this issue. People are talking about it. There's so many comments about it. Okay, that can be something I should position my good. If, let's say, I was in the health and wellness space, now I can position my quiz or my product to solve this chronic fatigue syndrome, for example, right? So that's the power of Facebook search. You use that to join groups, you see what people are talking about, see what they're writing about, and then you can get, it's a gold mine, and it's free of charge because you can see what they're talking about, what they're writing about. Okay, you take cues from there and use that in creating your quiz. Okay, now you go to Google, you use Google to refine. So now I saw that, okay, people are talking about chronic fatigue syndrome. Okay, what are the symptoms of adrenal fatigue, for example? All right, so you use Google to refine your search. So I go to Google, I go to Mayo Clinic, I check, okay, fatigue, symptoms of adrenal fatigue, body ache, low blood pressure. I can use all of this in creating my quiz questions or implement them when I'm creating my quiz questions. Because I know, okay, these are the issues when it comes to adrenal fatigue. Okay, I take a couple of this, creating my questions. I saw, okay, chronic fatigue syndrome, and you go to Google, I try to understand more. What does that mean? What are they talking about? What is the cure? Is there something happening? So Google, based on chronic fatigue syndrome, I realized that keto. So I don't know if any of you have heard of the keto online. I've seen the keto quiz. Take the keto quiz. Is keto right for you? Take the keto quiz to find out. Keto is one of the hot topic when it comes to chronic fatigue syndrome, right? And I'm able to know this based on my research. So I can decide, I write the keto quiz rather than writing the adrenal fatigue quiz, because people are talking more about chronic fatigue syndrome, right? Now you also go to Reddit. You check for the communities in Reddit. You join them, you see what they're talking about. This one, I joined this community that had 302,000 members. I went in, I can see they're still talking about chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's a hot topic. They're really talking about this in all the channels I'm checking, I'm looking at, So if you look at this, chronic fatigue syndrome, ME, still the same thing. So you can use Facebook, Google, Reddit to do this kind of research, targeting research. All right. You also go to LinkedIn. Now, if you're in the B2B space, LinkedIn is a great place for this kind of research, all right, because you get to see other business, people that have other businesses or interested, you get to see them on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a great space for this kind of, for B2B research targeting, all right? Now, what you're looking for, like I said, is those comments, those posts, those conversations that have the longest, deepest, kind of comments on them. Those ones that are passionate. That way you get to understand, okay, what are people really passionately talking about? Okay. Now, research targeting works so well for a couple of reasons. Now, the first one is you can find those issues, like I said, that your target audience are facing and position your quiz to solve that issue. So like we found, chronic fatigue syndrome is an issue. Now, if I was in that niche, I can position my quiz to solve this issue. I write the quiz based on that to solve this issue. You can also use the research targeting to find keywords. This is very important because the way you're writing your quiz may be different from the language that your target audience are using in the market. All right. But when you get to see the keywords they're using, those different keywords, you can use that in writing your quiz, in writing your arts copy. All right. And lastly, you can know exactly where to reach out when you have your quiz ready. So let's say, for example, most of your audience are on LinkedIn, and then you made your quiz and you had it on, for example, Google, on Instagram. You're not reaching the right people. They're on LinkedIn. They're mostly on LinkedIn. And you won't know this if you don't research to see exactly, where those people are having the most deepest conversations. Okay. Right. And I'm going to leave the floor just a few minutes. Kathy, Josh, I would like to find out if you've had any experience in the past. I know Kathy, I've written a couple of quizzes. So were you able to use research targeting to understand your audience? Have you done anything related to this in the past? If Kathy is there, or Josh, you can get started. Have you done research targeting in the past?
I've done market research in the past, and it pretty much coincides with what you're saying. So it makes sense.
All right. Kathy, are you there?
Hi. No, I haven't done a lot of market research. I know where my market is. They're on LinkedIn at small business owners. So that's what I'm going after. So we have two markets, small self-employed business owners in the state of Illinois, very unique. So I'm only licensed here to sell group employee benefits and then Medicare. So but no, this is helpful because I know there are groups, and LinkedIn is a great place for me to find those people.
Even aside from the research targeting, you can do on those different platforms. And when you join those groups and you have your quiz created, you can have your quizzes on those platforms. You can post it in there. And that way you put your quiz in front of people that have the issue that you're trying to resolve directly. Right? Now, next, let's look at 5 traffic sources that work really well. Okay, that's what we're going to look for next. The first one is Facebook and Instagram. Now, one of the reasons why Facebook and Instagram works so well is because quizzes are incredibly shareable. Okay, so people like to share their quiz results. If the quiz is done well, they will share it with their friends, and the friend will share it with the next friend. And that way your quiz can go viral. All right. So it's incredibly shareable. Also, if you're driving advertising on Facebook, Facebook pays you for that engagement. They say that, oh, wow, this person has enough engagement. Let's drive the cost per advertising low for this particular person. And that's why you see people are able to get 11 cents, 20 cents on leads on the back of a quiz funnel. Okay, so Facebook, Instagram, really great traffic source, both the paid and the unpaid. Okay, that's the first one. The next one is YouTube. All right, now YouTube is a great traffic source. Now let's say, for example, Kathy that sells businesses, and she makes a YouTube video. She says, hey, this is Kathy here. And one of the biggest questions that people are having is, should I buy a business or a franchise? So I put together a quiz called, should I buy a business or franchise? Click the button below, and I'll see you on the other side. Something like that. Now it's great because you've not only introduced yourself on the video, you've introduced your business. So it's a great involvement mechanism to take people from the video that they get to know you and your business more, then you give them the quiz. All right. So a quick 30 seconds video, you use that on YouTube, you drive them to the quiz down below your link. So YouTube, great as well. The next one is Google. All right. Now, imagine some of the things you do. Right? You go on Google and type best iPhone case. best television to buy. We all do that, right? So you go to Google, you type, for example, best email service provider. Now, there's no more effective way to address these particular people on Google than to say, hey, free quiz. Take this quiz and find out what email service provider is right for you. Or take this quiz and find out what phone case is right for you. So Google is also a very effective traffic strategy because most people, they go to Google to search. And once they go there, they type in, if you present them with a quiz to solve that particular problem, it's perfect. Okay, so Google. And finally, like I mentioned, LinkedIn. So if you're in the B2B space, LinkedIn is very incredibly effective. Like I mentioned last time, if you're in the B2B space and you want to take your quiz to the next level, position it as an assessment. All right, so calling your quiz funnel an assessment, it adds a level of professionalism, gravitas to the quiz, which makes it more serious than if you called the quiz. And also, you can find a way to convert your quiz questions to assessments, yes and no answers. That makes your quiz takers have a flow when they're taking your quiz. That increases the conversion rate of the quiz because they already have a flow. They don't take too long reading the answer options. They know it's yes or no, and they complete the quiz, quicker. Right? So LinkedIn, very, very effective. Okay. Now, before
Now, is that
go on.
Is that an advertisement that you're doing there, a paid advertisement?
And for LinkedIn,
or just
both
to
paid
share?
and unpaid. So LinkedIn, you have the paid advertising and the unpaid advertising. So for example, you can create a quiz, go to LinkedIn, go to your page, and you post it in there. All right. And at the same time, you can drive paid traffic to LinkedIn, to your LinkedIn.
It's like LinkedIn is just, I tell all the people we hire college interns that this is your online resume. So it's just like Facebook and Instagram. You post and people follow you. So you could post a quiz here and they can reshare it. See, there's a share button down there too.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is the way that you guys are doing it is through organic, where you post it as like a regular post rather than going into the advertisement manager and sending it out that way.
Yeah, but in any case,
it's called the free stuff. Take advantage of the free stuff.
In both scenarios, either it's being paid or if you're going to run paid advertising to it, in both scenarios, it's effective. For the Facebook one, if you run paid advertising, like I said, Facebook reduces your cost if you have a lot of engagements on your content. Facebook will drive the cost per advertising lower. Similar to LinkedIn as well. But that's if you have a lot of engagements on your posts. Okay.
And like Instagram, LinkedIn, people can follow you without connecting with you.
Yes. Right, but LinkedIn is great, like I mentioned, if you're in the B2B space, right? I see Kari's. Okay. Now, the final step, or the final topic is I'm going to show you how you can build an evergreen traffic funnel system. Now, what that means is without paid ads, if you do have a website that you are currently driving traffic to that particular website, I'm going to show you how you can use your quiz on different aspects of your website to generate leads. Okay. Quickly, Kathy has a website. Alex has a website. I know Josh is sitting here for Alex. Yeah, so Alex already has a website. All right. So let's get started. Now, there are a couple of ways you can use your quiz on your website. And I outlined 5 different ways you can do that. The first is you can have the CTA on the homepage. All right. Now, what does that mean? This is Empath Connection, one of our case studies. If you look at his website, you can see that he has the Take Quiz button on the homepage. Okay. Now, to be able to do this, although you have to have, depending on what website platform you're using, but you have to have some HTML, CSS skills, except the website allows you to simply add a button and you can link this button to the quiz URL. Okay, but this is effective because anyone that lands on your website, they get to see the quiz, all right? But then it's not being calculated as a view on our end until they click the button to take the quiz. Then we calculate them as a view on our end, right? So you can add the quiz to City A on the homepage. Now with Empath connection, he added this. He added the quiz to the website menu and to the City A on the homepage, and he was able to showcase the quiz to more website visitors by doing this, which resulted in him generating a lot of leads. So he was able to generate over 1,200 new health leads monthly. And yeah, and it was a 53% completion rate. All right. So that is one way. If you have a website, if your website is getting a lot of traffic through, you can have the quiz like this as a CTA on the homepage. Now, the next is you can have the quiz on the navigation bar. All right, now to do this is fairly easy. You embed the quiz on a page on your website, and you just add the website to the page to the navigation bar. All right, now this is effective because your quiz takers come in, it sits there. But when they're going through the different tabs you have here, they have one for quizzes. They click on it, they can go in, they can take your quiz. You know, it's not really disturbing anyone on the homepage. It has its own page. Okay, and you can see Empath connection. They also did that, so they had one here and they had one on the homepage, like I showed before. Okay. Now the next is you can have it as a hello bar or announcement bar. And bear in mind, aside from this, I'm just going to go back 2 steps. Aside from this one, which you need a bit of HTML, CSS skills, if your website builder is not, should I say, user-friendly to allow you to add a button. Besides this one for the embed, we give you the embed code. So all you have to do is take the code, go to the website page and embed it. That's fairly easy. For the announcement bar, hello bar, which is this one, you know, normal announcement bar style, it sits right there at the top of your website. You know, they can decide to click take it, they can decide to cancel it, they can decide to go on, you know, through the page. But for this one, you don't need to know configuration. On your LeadQuizzes account, when you go to your quiz, under the share tab, you can enable announcement bar on your website. Yeah, go on.
Not sure I'm following when this pops up, the hello bar.
Okay.
So they can close this or go somewhere else, but let's say you go to the URL, the website. It's not in the toolbar? Where does this pop up? Hello bar?
Let me just see if I can find 1 second. I'm just going to use some website as an example. So let's say this is my website. It's going to be right here at the top, where my mouse is, and it's going to sit there. You know, so if I come to your website, I'm going to see the hello bar or announcement bar. I'm going to see your various tabs you have in here, and I can decide to go on, you know, down your website, or I can decide to, let me see what's happening here, take the quiz. And what happens is when I click take the quiz, a pop-up will show up, and I can take the questions, and I can decide to close the pop-up out. All right? So that's how the hello bar works. Share this one time.
There's the hello bar. No, it looks like it overlays. It overlays rather than pushing content down on the top, right?
No, it takes its own spot at the top. So it pushes your website page down and sits at the top for your website. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have the functionality for you to either set it as fixed or let it follow the scroll, right? So if it's fixed, if you scroll down, you know, it's just going to sit at the top. But if you allow it to follow the scroll, as your scroll is going to follow and still be on all the sections of the page. All right, so you can do that. This is fairly easy. I mean, you can do this on your website. It doesn't disturb no one. It sits there on its own 24/7. If I come to your website, I'm like, oh, let me take the quiz and see, free quiz. Take it, leave my information. Okay. Now the next one is embedding the quiz on a blog post or embedding on the page itself. Now this is what the embedded quiz looks like. Yes. All right. Now you can embed the quiz on a page on its own, or let's say you have different blog posts. Okay. In between the text, you can have a quiz in there before the continuation. That way your readers are going through, oh, free quiz, they take it and they finish reading the blog post. Okay, so you can do that as well for different blogs you have on your website. All right, I have an example here. We have Dates ID that did this. So Dates ID, they used the announcement bar and they embedded the quiz on different blog posts, and they were able to get a 3% conversion rate from their free trial offers. Right. So if you look at it, let's say I have 100 free trials, like free trials, to got 3% conversion rate. No,
When you say 3% conversion rate from their free trial offers, is that 3% of the people who visit the website go through the free trial, or 3% of the people who join the quiz become a customer? Or what does the 3% mean?
So 3% of the people who took the quiz and got the trial automatically converted to paid subscribers. So what we're trying to display here is, even off the back of your quiz funnel, directly, without even having to put them through a sales funnel, you can make your sales and your conversions. He had an offer. He had a free quiz, find the dates in app ID. Let me just, if I can pull in the case study. Sorry, just give me 1 second. We have a lot of case studies on LeadQuizzes. Let me just find which one. So that is Dates ID. All right, so what I was trying to say is he had a compelling offer on his quiz on the result page, and those that completed the quiz from here, they got a free trial to use this product. So from the result page, he had, click the button below to claim free trial. When they click on it, they registered for a free trial. And he was able to generate 500 new leads monthly, 40% trial conversion. So if you check it, out of 500 people that came to his quiz, 40% of them, which is about 200, clicked on the take free trial. Now out of those 200 people we had on his trial, he was able to convert 3% of them to paid. So if you do that monthly, it's a lot, depending on what you're selling. Right, so he had great success simply by having this embedded and having this an announcement button.
So something I'm still not clear on with the data here. It's saying 35% of new leads convert to a free trial offer, and of those, 40% of those come to paid customers. Isn't that like 12% total? Because I'm hearing 3%, so they generated a 3% conversion rate from their free trial offers. Or is that two different segments? There's embedding it on the blog posts, and then there's also using.
Okay, I don't know, Josh, can you explain?
Okay, yeah. So here it says it improved to 35%. Before it was 3%. Is that what it's saying? Like it went from 3% to 35%?
So before they were having a 3% on their conversion, and it improved to 35%.
Okay, so the 3 was what was before. And then when they applied the quiz funnel, it went up to essentially 12% total because the 40% of 35 is 12.
Exactly. Oh,
okay.
See, Josh is doing so much maths in his head. Yes.
yeah. So it's it went from 3. That's like a 4 times improvement. Wow, that's good.
That's really great if you look
400%. Yeah.
No, but the great thing is you can try different. You can test different. You can have the announcement bar on the homepage, test it out, see how many conversions you had this week. Next week, you activate the website pop-up. The upper week, you embed it. But I will always suggest having the quizzes, having a couple of quizzes embedded on blog posts. So when they're reading your blog post, Kathy, okay, I think Kathy dropped off. All right. Then finally, let me go back to finally, we have the website pop-up. And with the website pop-up, you can activate this on different behaviors on LeadQuizzes. All right. So for example, someone comes to your website, they're trying to exit the website, they get to see a pop-up of the quiz. Okay. Or they come to your website after 20 seconds, you show them the quiz pop-up. Or they come to your website, once it loads, you show them. Or let's say you have a website that has a really long page, homepage. You can set the scroll percentage to 50%. That when they scroll 50% of the website page, the quiz pops up. So we have all these behaviors for our website pop-up, and you can test it on different pages on your website, different behaviors, and see, how that helps your lead generation and conversions.
Do you have certain ones of those that tend to work best as a starting point, or is it just a matter of testing?
The one I would say most of our customers have done great using is the exit intent, because picture, for example, I went to your website, there's no pop-up. I went through, I checked everything looks great. Maybe I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I'm trying to exit. Then I see a pop-up, hey, you get, take this product style quiz to identify what product is right for you. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna take it. And at the end of the quiz, the result I get is a page on your website that has the product based on the answers I gave. So it's a way to bring them back into your website, your product, your business, and give them direction, for example.
Okay.
So the exit intent works really, really well. You can have different behaviors. You can have on the homepage an exit intent, and then you go to the blog page if you want to have one in there and have it on a different behavior. All right. And that's with the exit intents. And this works really well if, Josh, do you have an idea of how much traffic comes into your website on a monthly basis?
I'm getting that data pretty soon from the webmaster.
Let's say for example.
So I don't have it right now, but we're looking at doing advertising to get more traffic. So they're going to be doing some YouTube ads to bring people in to the quiz funnel.
Say for example, you have 10,000 people coming to your website on a monthly basis. Now these are people that they researched on Google, they checked, they went to your website to look for a particular solution to a problem, correct? Now, if you're able to using the pop-up to convert even 2% of 10,000 monthly, to leads, and you're able to sell to them your product, that goes a long way, even without having to pay for advertising traffic. So if you're having so much traffic coming to your website, you can position your quiz in such a way that you generate leads from those traffic coming in to your website, and then you add them to your sales funnel without having to go pay for paid advertising. So it's a great starting point if you have a website. You do that and you share your quizzes on social media platforms. You can use those two avenues to, start out with driving traffic to your quiz without paying for Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or Instagram ads and so on. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Kathy, do you have an idea of how many website traffic you have on a monthly basis coming to your website? I think Kathy is dropping on and off. All right. Any questions, Josh? So I really apologize for today. I think you jumped in a bit late. So what happened was the power in the entire area I'm at went out by 8 o'clock. So I had to take a taxi to look for the closest cafe that have power to jump on a call, and that took some time. It's crazy, but yeah, that's fine.
I'm glad we were able to make it work.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? Something you want to go over? Maybe I can stop the recording for now, and then we can discuss further if you have.
Yeah.
All right, then. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.
So,
yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, do you guys have data on like what traffic sources are working best? We're looking at doing YouTube to get more traffic for the quiz. But is it mostly just where you got the quiz data from that you're using those questions for the places you'll be advertising on?
So if I get you correctly, Josh, your question is, do we have information on the best traffic sources where you can advertise your quiz? All right.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember, let me go back to my presentation.
It depends on where you got the questions from as to where you're going to advertise.
So the first, very important, you have to first do your research. Very important. Once you've done your research, you'll be able to identify where the people that you're looking to target, what social media platform do they use the most? Are they always on Facebook? Are they always on LinkedIn? Are they always on Instagram? For example, Kathy identified that most of her contacts are on LinkedIn because she sells B2B. So when you've done your research, you'll be able to tell, okay, are they mostly on Facebook? Are they mostly on Instagram? Are they mostly on LinkedIn? And based on that, you can spend some money in advertising on those platforms. All right. So just don't go ahead and saying, oh, Facebook. Maybe, if you're going to be, I know Alex is also doing B2B because you're here for Alex, So if you're going to do B2B as well, you go to Facebook, there are a ton of people that will take your quiz, for example, but nothing related to what you're talking about. They just wanted to check to see what's happening, to take it. But on LinkedIn, for B2B, you're sure to find people that have businesses that are actually interested in buying, other businesses or buying a franchise. And I'm sure Kathy will tell you, her experiences with LinkedIn.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions? Kathy, are you there? Do you have any questions? I think you're
just handling an emergency. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, this is all good.
All right. Yeah. So I know, Kathy, I still have to customize your quiz. Correct? So I still have a bit of customization. I don't know if you took some time to go through it yet.
You're asking me if I have to customize my quiz or?
Yes, I'm asking with regards to the quiz you have set up now on our platform. Is there any work you need done on it? Is everything okay? Is it flowing well? Do you have any questions?
So, and I didn't book a time with you. Maybe I need to. It's just been a crazy couple of weeks. we are using it for a very specific reason, but I'd like to expand because I think there's multiple purposes for a quiz. And I think what you're demonstrating here and why I needed to see this is on the front end. How do you capture that prospect? How do you get them into your funnel? How do you hook them? How do you intrigue them? We do it on the back end. We've already hooked them, got them, they want to do business with us, and we use it as a data collection. So we don't have to, we're trying to automate our system. So we don't have to collect this information one-on-one over the phone. Here, fill out this form, comes back to us. We run the quotes, you jump on a call, here's our calendar. And so we're ready to go. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I like the idea of a quiz on LinkedIn because LinkedIn can go viral. You can post and other people, and there's a lot of small businesses on there. And we could ask questions like, what do you look for in a broker? What's important to you having group health insurance benefits? What do your employees need? What I need to work on is then how to, one, why would they fill that out? What do they get for it? Which we talked about a little bit earlier. What's the reward? What's the free report or something? And then two, I don't know, is there a way to publish results if you ask a quiz and you kind of like a poll, if you polled people? Is that possible?
For them to, what do you mean publish results? For them to share the results.
Okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So currently, no, because the idea is this, if I got a result I really liked and I want to share it with you, what happens is when I share it, it shares the quiz. So you take it, and that is more lead for me.
Got it. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of two different things. One is a poll where you poll people, and that's something that you can do on LinkedIn. And this is actually a quiz, and they share it like, hey, I took this quiz, you should too.
Exactly. Right. So we don't currently have the functionality for you to share the quiz results itself on our platform.
Well, and in some cases, it's very personal stuff, especially if you're asking people about their health habits and body BMI. And like in my case, I'm collecting personal health information. So yeah, you don't want to share that.
I want to share that, definitely. All right. Kathy, make sure you do book a call. I think we still have to, go over a couple of things. And Josh as well. I know Alex left you in charge of his account, so I'm gonna drop my link behind. I don't know if you have access to the community, to Alex's community channel, but if you do not, Josh, I will drop a link to schedule a call with me. You can schedule with me for this week, next week, anytime, and we can go over some of the questions that you have.
I'll have some more specifics once we get this quiz going. So I appreciate that.
All right. Definitely. All right. I apologize one more time for the power failure that happened. That had to make me go crazy today. But at least it happened. We did this.
It's called life, so you punt. You got to figure it out. So I'm glad you were found power somewhere.
And finally, so for next week, so next week, we're going to talk about optimizing your quiz funnel. All right. So I'm going to show you basically how you can understand where drop-offs happen in your quiz. Okay. How you can split tests and review the results from both tests. And finally, I'm going to show you strategies of how you can scale your quiz funnel. All right. So that's for the final week. This is very important because I mentioned initially, there is no perfect. So I can't come right now and say, hey, Kathy, here's a perfect quiz for you. I can only do that via testing. So you test. You're going to test the cover page, the results, the questions, till you know what has the most conversions for you. All right. So I'm going to show you next week simple tweaks you can make to your quiz. I'm going to show you what to look for when you're checking your quiz reporting to see, okay, where the drop-offs happen. Is it because of the number of questions I had? Is it because of the question length? Is it because of my form field has too much forms in it and people don't want to leave so much information in there? So we're going to check all that next week, and I'll show you how to look for all those. Okay. All right. So have a great day, people. Thank you very much for sticking
Thank you,
with me.
Elvis.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Cheers.
Have a good one. Take
Thank
care. We'll
you.
see you next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.